Hello and welcome to the White Dog Garage YouTube channel. My name is Bob. This video is going to be about building a simple wooden phone holder. For a long time I suffered with just balancing the phone on a suitable object, in this case the salt shaker, and it got worse when I was charging, so I decided I would build a phone holder, and I built this one. So now it sits nicely like that. I can have the charger connected, and if need be, want to watch a movie, I can turn it sideways. It works just as nicely. So stay with me and watch how I built it and got it to the stage it's at now. Thank you. Enjoy. I am making the phone holder out of recycled timber. The white painted piece is Tasmanian oak from a cupboard, and the dark one is a blue gum floorboard. I start with the blue gum floorboard and use a compound miter saw to cut out a suitable length from which to work from, and then use the table saw to remove the tongue and groove edges. The blue gum floorboard is 3/4 of an inch or 19mm thick, but for my purposes I am reducing it to a thickness of 13mm. Then it is on to the piece of Tasmanian oak, which I also machine down to a thickness of 13mm. Finding a nail still in the timber is one of the joys of working with recycled wood. Fortunately it is a small one in this case, so no real damage to the blade, and I will remeasure and cut a fresh piece. The sides of the holder will be Tasmanian oak, and I am joining two pieces together with two-sided tape so that I can cut out the basic shape on the bandsaw. I have previously drawn a full-size side elevation sketch of the holder on paper. I now cut out the paper outline and use two-sided tape again to stick it to the top of the two sides, making sure that the right angle part of the drawing is in line with the corresponding corner of the wood. Here I clean up the phone recess with the chisel and then separate the two sides. I trim the blue gum piece to 45mm wide and then cut two pieces 120mm and 40mm long that I will use to space out the two sides. At this stage I could simply screw or nail the pieces together, but I'm going to use dowels because, well, why not? Clamping the loosely assembled phone holder together, I mark the dowel positions with a square. I have placed a piece of angle iron on the drill press to form a fence which I can reference off for the distance in from the edge for each dowel hole. The brad point drill that I'm going to use is quite a wobble, so my first thought is to check that it's gripped evenly by the chuck. It is, unfortunately. I don't have another brad point in that size on hand, so I substituted dropper drill in its place. Unfortunately, I let the dropper drill wander a bit, and I need to remark the positions for the dowel holes in the sides before drilling them. I use mineral turpentine to clean up the pieces, and then, having already cut the dowels to length, I round over the cut edges on sandpaper to make them easier to fit. Having done a dry fit, I disassemble the holder and then used PVA glue to stick it all back together and clamp it up to dry. Once the glue is dried, I pull the clamps off, and to be honest, I'm not that happy with the end result. The holder will do the job it's designed for, but is very utilitarian in appearance, so I decide to give it some design features. I decide to break up the wide expanse of the sides by drilling a series of holes in them. To do this, I sketch an arc across the side and mark 5 positions where I will drill the holes. After a bit of trial and error, I eventually arrive at an arrangement that I am happy with. I'm sticking with the 5-hole concept and will make them small to large and back to small along the length of the arc. I mark out the positions on both sides and it is back out to the drill press. I've decided to make the whole series diameters 8, 16, 32, 16 and 8 millimeters as it goes across the arc. Now, ideally I would have thought of this change before assembly, but I didn't. One of the downsides of Tasmanian oak is it really likes to splinter. So just about every hole splintered on the backside as the drill went through the wood. I will have to live with the splintering, however the power file came in real handy for smoothing the inside of the holder and getting into places that were hard to reach otherwise. I also decided to cut arches in the base spacer. I do this with a coping saw and clean up the cuts with a half round rasp and a round file and then sandpaper. My last job was to fill in some nail holes on the sides, which I did by gluing in pieces of kebab stick and cutting them off flush. And then it was on to sanding and more sanding and sanding, but I want to show you a few seconds. To finish the holder, I'm using a clear polyurethane. It is a marine clear, which I've used before on different things, and I know from experience that it tolerates a lot of wear and tear. Although I only show one application of the polyurethane here, I do two more off camera, sanding in between each coat. I'm fairly happy with the final result. I'm really glad I decided to add the holes in the sides, as I think in the end it makes the holder look far less boxy. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I'd welcome a thumbs up. And please share it amongst your friends. If you haven't already subscribed, think about subscribing. And if you do, please ding the bell so that you're reminded every time a new video comes back. If you don't want to subscribe, check back every fortnight, 2 weeks, and I should have a new video up. Thank you very much again for watching.